filter, and so sometimes YouTube just flags comments. I don't know. I'm sorry about that though. We do need an upgrade in our basketball program really bad. Okay. All right. So we're at our average around how many people are in here. So again, remember to share. Tell people where you're at if you're on Facebook or Twitter, anywhere on social media. Just copy and paste the URL above somewhere. So I probably won't be able to, because you guys are lighting the chat up. I knew I had a feeling if I put Mike Anderson in, of course, this is what this live stream's about mostly is talking about Mike Anderson, but anytime I put his name somewhere in the title, those videos get a lot of get some attention, not always positive. So I will start off by saying this. Oh, and welcome. I hope everyone's doing good. I hope you're all doing great. I hope I don't get too many comments thrown into my filtered section. So I'll just leave it at that. But again, welcome. I hope you guys have had a great week. I will be out of town, so I don't know how much basketball I'm going to get to watch this weekend. We've got a funeral to go to down Little Rock, so I'm going to be out of town for a little bit. I don't know when we'll be back, but so I'll be dealing with that, and hopefully I'll be able to get back at it next week. And can't wait to finish to wrap up spring break. Let me get caught up on chat here. Let's see. Mike, we'll get another year, says Charlie. If we are in the same boat next year at this time, he will get fired. That seems to be the most common belief amongst fans I've seen on social media and people that I've talked to. They feel like Mike Anderson, he's not done enough to get fired. And this is according to them. It's not according to me. He's not done enough to get fired. He's done enough to keep his job. And he probably will be back next year. If I'm going to be honest with you, he probably will be back. Isn't RP banned in NCAA? Who will start at quarterback next year? We are going to talk a little bit about, again, Trey Biddy has an article on 24/7 Sports. You need to go read it. Go check it out. I meant to tag him on Twitter, but I failed to do so. But according to that article, these are just kind of reasons why they'll make the did I say they make the tournament? I'm sorry. Why they'll make the bowl? Why they'll make a bowl game next year? So I'm going to give you my reasons for and against on that as well. Whether you agree with Tyzilla or not, he's still got the best Razorback channel on YouTube. Hey, I appreciate that, Blake. You're awesome, man. I really do appreciate that. Let's see. Shared. Thank you so much for sharing, Blake. You've got a really long name, but thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. 8 years is enough. That's 2 terms. It is. It's 2 terms. You're the man, TYZ. Thanks, Jeremiah. I appreciate it. I think we were pretty good going to the tournament. 3 out of every 4 is better than most. We will have a big year next year. Now, I'm going to have to ask you, Mr. Caldwell, what do you see next year that I don't? I don't know what you're seeing next year that tells you that next year is going to be a big year, because I don't think that it is. You've already got Daniel Gafford out. There have been rumors that Isaiah Joe could transfer, and even with Isaiah Joe coming back, I mean, I know the Providence game. I know that game gave everyone hope. But guys, Providence, people who were there in the media were talking about how bad they were and how good they made Arkansas look. And I have to agree. From what I saw, they did not. Providence looked sloppy. They looked bad on both ends of the court. They had no offense. I don't know how many brick threes they had. Like, they took so many contested shots and just looked bad. I can't look at that game and go, oh, Arkansas is going to be great next year. That's what's going to happen. I just can't go with that. Now if this were, I don't know, a troubled LSU school, well, let's pretend like the NCAA did something and banned them from the NCAA tournament, but allowed them into the NITs for whatever reason. Just a hypothetical. If they were to do that against an opponent like that in a postseason setting, then yeah, okay, let's see what we got here. But against who they faced round 1 in the NITs, I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't know what you saw in Providence or what you saw in that game that made you think, oh, they're going to be great, because Providence was bad. You have to remember who you play against matters. We saw what Arkansas did against Indiana earlier in the season, by the way. That's who they're going to take on for the second round of the NITs. They're going to play Indiana again. I do think they should win. It won't be as easy as Providence, but Indiana kind of fell apart. That was an impressive win at the time when they did beat Indiana, so I got to give them that at the time. And at the time, coming out of that game against Texas, how well they played, everyone thought, well, I guess no one really knew what to think of this team in 2018, 2019. And then the way they played against Texas, and they had several games in a row. I don't have my schedule in front of me, but they looked really good. And then they beat Indiana, and then they turn around and have a performance like what they had against Texas A&M and at home. And who was the other one? Western Kentucky. They just so inconsistent. And then they had the losing streak in the middle of the year, continuous losing in the month of January. I don't know. And that was with Daniel Gafford. Like, I don't know what anybody sees. I know they've got a kid coming in who's going to be a two-sport player who a lot of people are pretty big on, coming from Central Arkansas. I just don't know that he makes a big difference. It's possible. It is possible, but I don't think that he turns Arkansas around. I don't think that one freshman coming in turns Arkansas around in a single season, especially, again, when you consider you don't have Daniel Gafford. That is that's a big issue. And again, there's rumors floating around everywhere, and I hate rumors. But it's crazy because it seems like with basketball, transfer rumors, half the time they seem to be true. And there are rumors that 2 or 3 guys could be transferring out. As of right now, grain of salt. Like I say in all my videos when we talk about rumors, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I don't know what anybody sees that makes them believe that next year they're going to be any better than what they were this year. Now, if Mike Anderson sticks around and he makes a change, some big changes on his staff, then we'll see. Providence sucked. Let's see, football. We'll get to football in just a second, guys. I think we're pretty good going. Okay, that was where I left off with Bradley Caldwell. No, we won't make Final Four, says Dex Clement. Kept his plus 50% win rate. He sure did, Corey. You're absolutely right. He did. And that you can't overlook that. I realize that a lot of fans do, and they immediately go to, well, he didn't do anything, and he's never done anything here postseason in terms of a long run, and that's true. Both can be right. Both are right. He's been great during the regular season, and it's very again, you can't overlook that. At the same time, what matters the most in college basketball is what you do in postseason play in an NCAA tournament setting. He's not done it. He's just not done it. I mean, 3 tournament appearances in 8 years. How many wins? 2 tournament wins. A one and done against Butler last year. We've seen him with upperclassmen. We've seen him with a decent depth chart on the bench in terms of just in terms of depth. We've seen it. We've seen it with experience on the court, but we've still yet to see him do anything with it postseason. Now, another argument for the Mike Anderson defenders is, well, North Carolina. He should have beaten North Carolina. Had a poor seeding against North Carolina. Well, do you know how to get a better seed and not face teams like North Carolina? Win in the month of January. That's it. Win in the month of January. We've seen him in February. That's kind of his shtick. I shouldn't say his team slacks off in the month of January, and then February they're left playing catch up. And that's why you get bad seeding or not so great seeding. That was something that every time he's made the tournament, that's been a complaint of Mike Anderson. Well, of the NCAA and of the selection committee and where they're putting Arkansas. Win in January and you don't have that problem, right? And obviously, you need to win in February. He's proven that he can do that. He can win in the month of February, except this year wasn't as hot. Do you think Gafford will be good in the pros? God, I don't know. I really don't know. Look at that haircut. What a beautiful face. Yeah, got this haircut, this $15 haircut at Walmart. It's called the Arkansas Special. I don't know how Gafford will do in the pros. He'll project more as he'll project probably as a, I don't know. I mean, he's athletic enough. He can move up and down the court. He can play I think he can play the 4. He could play the 5 at Arkansas in the SEC. I don't know. I don't know how he'll do. I don't know how he'll do in the pros. I do think I have a hard time not seeing him in the first round. Again, they don't typically in the NBA draft on body of work. They typically draft on projection, and he's projected. I mean, he's big, he's fast, he moves up and down the court. He's proven to be a rim defender. He could play okay in the box. I think he got better at boxing out. I meant to say he plays good in the paint. He's gotten better at boxing out. He did improve from year 1 to year 2. You know, whether you're talking about free throw shooting or points per game, he went from 11 to 12 points a game to, what was it, like 18 points a game or something. I mean, he saw improvement. His shooting percentage, even though he's a big and he's inside, did improve. I don't know where he was at in total rebounds and blocks, but I think in all areas he improved. And so when you look at that, again, I'm not saying the NBA completely ignores the body of work. They do look at that. They do look at what he did, and they'll see highlight footage. They'll watch that. But again, they're going to draft him based mostly on projection. And he is. I mean, last year, look, there were scouts saying that this guy. There were NBA scouting analysts saying he is a lottery pick. He is a top 12. He's a top 10 pick. He's somewhere in that category. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said in the video that I made, I think that was this week. I could see him going in the first round. I mean, I could. But when you look at what was around him this year, it's hard to look at. It's hard to look at film and see, well, they lost here and they lost there. How much of that is on Gafford? The team looked better when Gafford wasn't on the court against Providence, but it's Providence, so I don't know. Jeremiah says, if Arkansas retains Mike for another year, just to fire him when they don't make the tournament next year, why wait? That's a very good point. There's nothing that makes you think they're going to improve from what they did. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, really. I mean, you took the words kind of out of my mouth. I mean, I don't see these guys. I don't see them improving next year. I don't see it. I've yet to see a good reason as to why they're going to be better, other than the fact they are we hope they're bringing back a lot of what they had on the bench and 4 of the 5 starters from the 2018-2019 season. But the question has been, outside of Gafford and Joe, like, where's the talent? Where's Chaney been? Why is there so much inconsistency, whether it's from the bench? And so those same questions you're going into for the 2019-2020 season, you typically have something you can hang your hat on. What do they have to hang their hat on outside of Isaiah Joe? Again, if he makes changes, which apparently I don't think he's going to do with his staff, that's a different subject entirely. And then maybe we can kind of talk about, of course, it's hard to project any team based on hirings and firings of a staff, but maybe that's what might be needed. I don't know who they fire. I don't know who they hire, but I do think there has to be a change. War Machine, most of you know who he is. He makes highlight reels for the Razorbacks. He believes the same thing. He thinks that there needs to be a major shakeup, and he's right. He's absolutely right. What's up, Daniel? How you doing? Daniel Hadley, welcome. I'm sorry, guys. My eyesight is terrible. I'm trying to get caught up on chat. Solo Week says, get him out. We need Mason Jones and Reggie Chaney and Henderson. Yeah, and I don't know if there's truth to that. People are saying that that if Mike Anderson stays, that these players are transferring. I don't know that I believe all that. Again, is it something that if it happens, you could say, "Oh yeah, I heard that," but I don't know that there's any I don't know that if there's any real relevancy to that. Okay, sorry. Wife is texting me. How could you be happy with Anderson Gary Beavers? I guess you're talking to Gary Beavers. You're adding a Gary Beavers. Sorry, my chat doesn't show like highlighted names. It just looks like a part of the sentence. Gary Beavers said, let all these professional coaches sitting at home go coach the Hogs. It would I would like to see them do better. Okay. War Machine. Yeah, War Machine. We chat. Well, we used to chat a little bit. I actually did an interview with him several months back. Pretty cool interview. Pretty cool guy. He's a unique individual. I like him, and I love his videos. John Reese says, heard around the rumor mill that 3 players will be transferring. Yeah, if Mike stays. And also heard that there is a big coach that contacted Arkansas and is willing to take head coaching spot if Mike leaves. I don't know anything about that, John, but I have heard that has been a pretty big rumor around that if Mike Anderson stays, these guys go. I kind of thought it'd be the other way around when you hear these guys talk about their coach to the media. You know, I mean, Daniel Gafford basically laid himself out there for Mike, and so the other players. Ty doesn't chat with anyone anymore. We need a player coach like Memphis did with Penny Hardaway. God, Penny Hardaway. I remember watching him when I was a kid. I was a Celtics fan, you know, a Larry Bird fan growing up. And but yeah, Penny Hardaway was pretty fun to watch back in the 90s. Good times. Fry, you're the man. Still my boy, Fry. Let's see. Get caught back up. Love your videos. And yeah, it's time to get a new coach. Thank you so much, big man Ross. I don't know if that's Jason Ross, but if it is, how's it going, man? If it's not, welcome anyways. Marcus Leonard, because we're not willing to pay the money to the right coach. If you're responding to something I said, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's see. He's my other Arkansas YouTuber I watch. Oh, War Machine. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of podcasts out there. A lot of podcasts. Most of the other Razorback YouTube channels are highlight channels, and highlight channels are all the rage. I mean, that's what everybody likes. Highlight channels are, I don't consider them. Someone asked me once if I consider them competition on YouTube, and I said, no, they're highlight channels. You know, you just record and you throw it on YouTube, and that's it. You know, not saying that what War Machine, and there's also Highlight Creator who is actually lives in Arkansas. I don't want to put too much out there because he's a pretty private guy, but could be having a Highlight Creator wants to have an interview, and I don't know if I'm going to do it yet or not. I got to find the right timing to do these interviews. Like I said, when I know I'm going to go live, it's really difficult to even guess when that is. And today, just the timing was perfect, and I thought, yeah, let's do it. I wish I could plan these out. I really do. I know a lot of you get a little upset. Damn the shade. Did I throw shade? I wasn't trying to throw shade at you, Fry. Let's see. Gary Anderson says, I didn't say I supported Mike Anderson. I just know we could I don't know if you meant to say couldn't do better. If you're saying that we couldn't do better, I want to know on what basis. If you're saying that Arkansas can't do better than Mike Anderson, I want to know on what basis. And if you say because Pelfrey and Stan Heath, that is the most asinine argument I've ever heard. That's like saying we should never move away from Mike Anderson just because things could go bad. You roll the dice with every head coaching change. Okay, you rolled the dice with Dave Van Horn, baseball. He worked out pretty good and will retire a Razorback. You rolled the dice with football. I don't know that it always worked out. That is an example where it didn't, but that's the risk you take. You just, I don't know. I just don't think settling for NITs and one and dones and maybe getting to the second round every second or third year should be Arkansas' ceiling. That's just where I'm at. Arkansas is afraid of a lawsuit for Mike. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about a lawsuit. I don't know why they would. I mean, you haven't performed. It's just like you at your job. You haven't performed, you're going to get fired. I've been on the end of that stick before. This is mediocre. That is the worst spot to be. It is mediocre. And I'm sorry that you know, for anyone who is a defender of Mike, I'm not attacking you. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I have called some of them white knights because some of the things that they have said, a lot of the things that people on the other aisle have said is, you know, you get the where all the Mike haters at now every time he wins a game. It's like, bro, we're still here. You know, you get a little bit of hypocrisy and just outrage and nonsense on both sides. But again, I don't know where you go if you keep Mike around. I don't know where you go from here. Highlights are not accurate. We need to see what to fix, not only what makes us look good. You know, hey, I agree. And that's why I do this. And I really like doing it. Rehire Nolan. I have had someone actually legitimately say that. That was last year when I first came out with a video. It was I don't remember. Maybe I can't remember. It was right before they got a big win last year, and I said I came out with a video and I was like, "You need to do something about Mike. They need to move on." And literally, someone DM'd me on Twitter and said, "Let's just rehire Nolan." I'm completely serious. I mean, wow. I don't know. No, that's the answer. I like Mike, but needs much improvement. We should be going to the dance every year, says Chris Ledbetter. Tommy Lewis, you roll the dice with everyone and everything. Tommy, I couldn't agree more. Corey Mooney says, need someone who can recruit well. I feel like it's hard to convince young players from other states to come play for Arkansas. Wasn't that the whole reason for the practice facility we were talking about, right? Get the practice facility recruiting and we'll go through the roof. We need to get a big name. We have the money. I don't know that you have to go get a big name. Unfortunately, even though Mike, and I will say this again, I agree. Mike has brought Arkansas up from the ashes. Things were pretty bad. Things were bad. I sometimes think that, well, things were bad. I'll just say that. Mike did bring us up out of the ashes, but I don't think you have to go out and hire. I don't think you have to go out and hire a Rick Pitino leveled coach. I hope that we don't go get someone who lets his players party with hookers and cocaine or whatever it was that they did. But, someone who's a little bit more morally upright, but that caliber of coach. I don't think you have to go out and hire that caliber of coach to have success. But there has been a proven science here lately. Well, I shouldn't say proven science, but a proven method. Hiring coaches that have been somewhat successful at other jobs or who have seen a level of success at other jobs. You're seeing that with some of these schools in the SEC who have actually hired in coaches who've been successful elsewhere. And I know some people are going to say, well, that's what Mike is right now. He's having some success with Arkansas. No, I'm going to argue that coaches who've had success in tournament play and things like that, and Mike did that with Mizzou. Mike did that with UAB. A big reason for my not believing he works here is the fact that he won't change his system. He won't make assistant changes, and he can't recruit. That's my problem with Mike. But so I don't think that you have to go out and hire some elite level coach. I don't hire Rick Pitino. That'd be Bobby Petrino all over again, except worse and in basketball. I don't hate Mike. I like him, just not happy with his progress. It's not working, Rev Doc says. And that is also pretty – everyone likes Mike. You're not ever going to hear anyone say, oh, Mike is such a b-hole. I try to keep it family friendly here. Sorry. Mike is such a loser. You don't hear that, right? You hear everyone defend Mike and say that he's a good guy. He is. He's a good guy. And I wish he would have worked out here. I looked up to Nolan Richardson as a kid. And when I heard Mike was coming to be a head hog from Mizzou when they were bringing him in, even after he told Mizzou media that wasn't going to happen, I mean, I was on cloud nine. And it's just been unfortunate that he hadn't worked out. It really has. If we lose Reggie Chaney, we have no rebounding and not a single big, tall man. Yeah, it's going to be rough if the rumors about Chaney are true. And sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire, and I hope that's not the case with Chaney. I really do. These, again, I'm going to say it again, and I'll probably say it again before we're done here. Take all those rumors with a grain of salt. We have no choice, no choice in the SEC. We have to bring in a name. We are in the SEC. Mike will do good in Big Ten. No, I don't think that's completely accurate. I don't think you have to go out and get an elite level coach. I just don't. Is Butler's coach available? Pillar of Autumn. Is that a band? Or a video game or something? Pillar of Autumn says, agree on Mike. He doesn't demand discipline from his players. They make awful decisions regularly, almost like watching pickup basketball sometimes. One of the biggest problems I think they've had every year he has been here, well, obviously rebounding. I don't know how you design a team around or not making rebounding a part of your DNA. I don't know how you do that. It's almost like they have zero. It's like when someone's in a team meeting and they're like, yeah. So we're gonna, we know they don't run set plays as much as other schools because of the kind of offense they run or kind of kind of basketball they play, but it's almost like someone's in a team meeting and they go, but what about rebounding? And then someone like knocks him or hits him. There's no care for rebounding in Mike Anderson with his system at all. And another thing I've always noticed is settling for terrible shots. And that plagues a lot of teams, especially when they're younger. Taking, their shot selection, contested shots, just throwing it up and hoping to God that it goes in, or that they can score. But this year they got better a little bit at trying to get away from contested shots and having a little bit better shot selection. But then like the rebounding killed them. And then who was it? They went 6 minutes without scoring. 6 minutes without scoring. It wasn't Tennessee, but that's mind blowing to me. That's mind blowing. There's always holes in Mike Anderson's philosophy, and I don't know. Let's see. Jeremiah says, I hear that Fred Hoiberg is looking to get in the SEC. And that is something, too. The SEC, this is the other question you have to ask about Mike Anderson. The guy struggled. When did he make his first tournament? Was it year 4? The SEC was terrible in his first 4 or 5 years. The SEC was not good, and he struggled. Now, what we were being sold then was, he's got to build his depth chart, right? He's got to build the depth. He's got to get his guys on the court. We heard that so much. And when he finally did get guys like Qualls and Portis, yeah, they played really well. Obviously, the tournament, that was a little bit different scenario. And the month of January was a little bit different scenario. But the SEC is getting better. It's improving. The SEC has taken a real big approach into making basketball a priority. For the longest time, it's been football, baseball. I mean, I'm not saying that the SEC is what they are at college baseball or college football, because they're not, but they're getting there. I'm not kidding you. They're catching up to the other conferences. And the question is, can Mike win in that scenario at Arkansas? And you could point to what he did at Mizzou when they were in the Big 12. The Big 12 was a really good basketball conference, and he won there. Why can't he win in the SEC? And I know he's winning regular season games, but it seems like the more difficult the SEC has gotten the last couple of years, they struggle. Last year, how many close wins did they have? How many games should they have lost on the road? How many games did they barely win at home? And it's getting more and more challenging, and this year's a really good example of how much better the SEC is. How many teams last year went to the tournament? 8. This year, 7. How many do you think will go next year? I mean, 6 would be a low number now at this point. I can remember when 6 would be like, what? In the SEC? No way. They're sending 7 and 8 the last 2 years. Well, 8 and 7. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if his system, if he could move away from what he does, make some changes, maybe run more set plays. Hell, I don't know. Rebound better, make some changes with his assistants, recruit better. I don't know. Then maybe there's hope. Let's see. Kevin Ollie is nice too. The best team lately was Bobby Portis and Michael Qualls. We need big men like that. God, that was a good team. Bobby Portis and Michael Qualls. That's unfortunate that they ended as quickly as they did. You feel like those two guys alone deserved going way farther than they did in the tournament, and it is what it is. Jason Kidd says Trap God. Let's see. I'm sorry if I'm missing your messages. My bad. Fred Hoiberg is a good pick. Let's see. Exactly. Awful shots early in the shot clock, says Pillar. Got to go. Keep it up. See you, Tommy. You're probably already gone, but see you, bud. What about free throws? Holy crap. Free throws, Corey. You're spot on. Free throw shooting was, well, I mean, it wasn't good. We did see some players improve. We saw Gafford improve at the free throw line, but that was really it. Scotty Thurman is the assistant coach, but never does anything. He could make Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones into superstars if he would coach. I don't know. Is that the problem? I don't know. Then how much of that is on Mike's shoulders? As soon as they throw up a brick, they immediately transition to defense without caring for rebounds. Yeah, that's true. Rev, you are correct. The game wasn't the fastest 40 minutes of hell. It was a bad game. That game wasn't the fastest 40 minutes of hell. It was a bad game. Free throws were horrid, says Big Man Ross. Jay Macy says, Mike's gone. It's already done. I'm not guessing, just saying. Well, if you're just saying, then you're guessing. No idea who we get. We've never been bad, but he's had more than enough time and talent to get past being pretty good. I agree. Again, play better in the month of January. You get better seeding because we know Mike can coach in February. We know his teams typically get going right before SEC play. But then once they when they do get into the tournament, the 3 times the last 8 years, they just, I don't know, brick wall. The Butler loss to me is really where I just started. All right, that's it. I'm not holding back. Jay Mason says, same issues every year. Ticket sales are down, which are really why he's gone. Ticket sales are down everywhere. I hate to say it. They're down everywhere. TV and all the coverage of basketball games is really having an effect. You will have games where they'll come close to selling out and filling up Bud Walton, but it's going to be far less frequent than what we saw even in the Nolan years. I don't know that you'll ever get back to that. Again, thanks to television coverage. Parking is still terrible. It's horrible for football games, but they're getting better. Al Reynolds, the program was nothing before Nolan. That's not true. You need to look up Eddie Sutton. After Nolan, the program fell deep into the abyss. Nolan's protege, raised the program from desolation back to a place of respectability. Now fire him. Define respectability, Al. And also, you need to look up Eddie Sutton. Granted, no one has ever taken the program as far as Nolan. That is true. But no, they weren't nothing before Nolan. That's incorrect. NIT is respectable. No, it's not. Trap God. Earl Watson. Solo Week says Mike is a good guy, but that doesn't win games. True. Jay Macy. Yeah, thank you. Eddie Sutton at Al Reynolds. Philip Frame. If you built your team around rebounding and fouls, you would have a chance to win every game. Rules today's game are geared towards those two things. It does seem like you just can't. That's one of the things that have kind of held, I think, that style of play back a little bit. You can't. The foul calls are ridiculous. You match that with how poorly SEC officiating is. It's horrible. SEC officiating is the worst. I've watched Big Ten basketball. I've watched Big 12, PAC, ACC, the other smaller conferences. Of course, my kids start screaming. Sorry. Sorry if you hear that. My bad. But today's officiating in the SEC is the worst it's ever been. And I've watched a lot of basketball. Look, I'm a Celtics fan. I watch a lot of NBA. Well, when I have time, I watch the NBA. SEC officiating is terrible. And you combine that with his style of play. It's a perfect storm for a perfect disaster. Hey, I love your channel. Thank you so much, Sharon Carter. Solo Week. Mike always recruited. I can't. Mike always recruited something colleges, not big places. Jeremiah says Mike had missed out on too much talent that should have been a draw of the U of A, such as Archie Goodwin, Malik Monk, Kayvon Allen, Reggie Perry, etc. I got more. Not wrong there either. Rev Dog says, Al, nobody respects Arkansas. Pillar of Autumn, Mike isn't doing much better than Pearl or Pell or Heath. The expectations are risen compared to those guys. Nobody can deny that Mike. We've spent way more time on Mike than I wanted to. I kind of thought we'd transition into football. That's okay, but Mike built a foundation. There's no argument about that. The problem is he's not building on top of that foundation. Recruiting has to pick up. He's got to be willing to make changes. He's got to be willing to practice set plays and things like that. It reminds me so much of Houston Nutt in his last years at Arkansas. That's what we're seeing happening. I really don't think Mike gets fired. I think he sticks around for another year. And I think then he has a bad year, and now it's easier. It's easier for them to say, for Hunter Yurachek or the board, whoever, to say, "Oh yeah, now we're going to fire him." He had back-to-back years where he didn't make the tournament. Another year where he barely finished around 500 or a little bit better, and now we're going to fire him. I think it's a safe bet to keep him. Mike is safe. He's safe, which a lot of Hog fans seem to be okay with. He's safe. And that's why they won't fire him this year. He will come back. If he gets fired, I'll do something crazy live. I will shave my head or something. I do not. If they fire him, I will shave my head. If my wife is watching, she's going to kill me. I'm expecting a text message any second. I will do, maybe not shave my head. I don't know, but I'll do something crazy. Maybe I can break something. No, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll let you guys vote. How about that? Follow me on Twitter at Tyzilla83. Again, thank you guys so much for coming in and spreading the word on social media, where to come to. And remember just to share the link above. Like, comment, share the content. Let's see. Can we stop hating on Mike for just a little bit? I don't think it's a matter. And that's the other thing that drives me crazy. All you Mike haters, look. We're just skeptical of Mike Anderson. That's it. It is what it is. And if people don't like that, I'm sorry. Some people do go overboard. I agree with that. It's not hating. I don't want us in the NITs. It's whack. I agree. Michael McAfee says, if Joe has a solid season next year, do you see him staying? If you're talking about Isaiah Joe, it just depends. It depends on the people around him, what people are saying into his ear. When you have outside influencers, that's bad. When you have family members in your ear, that's bad. Family members and friends and family see the potential of you making millions of dollars and being a potential first-round draft pick. I don't know that that's what he is, but it starts to weigh on you. There's even rumors that he could be gone after this year. I don't see that happening, but they're out there. And again, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't think with Isaiah Joe leaving that's the case, though. Let's see. Outside of the campus, what's attractive for top flight athletes to come to Fayetteville? You could say that about a lot of towns. You could say that about a lot of college towns, like outside their university. What are you supposed to be doing? These are 18-year-old kids we're talking about. We've got a Six Flags right outside the town here. So, yeah. What can you sell to an 18-year-old other than, hey, the campus is nice, facilities are great. We have an indoor, or we have a new practice facility. We have a new nutrition center, by the way, brought to you by Jerry Jones. Huh? What else do you sell to a kid other than the university and the city, right? The state of Arkansas with 3 million people. They don't do that in Alabama. They just sell the university. They sell success. They sell, what they've done in the past. They try to sell their program and its history and all the good that comes with it. I love Arkansas, but we aren't respected in any sport but baseball. And look what happened in Omaha last year. Call the ball. Philip Frame says, when Mike made his runs in the NCAA, the rules of the game were different. I think do you mean Nolan? Are you talking about Nolan? Pillar of Autumn, he will for sure get one more year. Trap God says we need to be in the tournament next year. Facts. For him to keep his job, absolutely. I agree with that. Absolutely. Get the Clippers. Oh, talking about cutting my hair. I do agree on the officiating. Is it me, or does the officiating seem to be biased against the Hogs? No, I think it's biased against the system. I think it's biased against the kind of, and it's one of the reasons why for a little while people were saying he was kind of backing off the full court press and trying to, get pressure on the point guard coming out with the ball. They have. If you watch last year and this year, they certainly have backed off because of the amount of fouls and because of how bad the officiating is. I don't think it's biased against the Hogs, because if you watch any SEC officiated game, they're pretty bad. It's not just the Hogs. It's just the SEC. There have been games I've watched that were outside the conference that were a little like, wow, where was the call? Or maybe that's an iffy call. There maybe once or twice in a game, but it seems like in the SEC, it's like every other possession. It's just head scratchers. What was it? The LSU game on the road. Look at that game and tell me Arkansas should have lost that game. That should not have been a win. And how poorly officiated that game was. And that's a highlight for Mike. Honestly, I think in his career as a Hog, that might be the most impressive win he's had ever. Well, on the road away from Bud Walton under the circumstances. How bad the officiating was. And when you talk about LSU, a team that's been cheating, look at the talent they have. Look what happened. So that might have been one of the most impressive wins. Let's see. Thoughts on football? Yeah, hang on. I swear we're going to get there. Here, he will get one. Oh, we were already there. Al, can we start with the incredible facilities? Junior college recruiting is not going to get it done. Oh, thank you, Corey, for sharing. I appreciate that. Let's see. Come on now. With all the programs around us getting caught up in scandals, we should definitely be happy with a clean program. If they end up firing Mike, they should hire one of my former team players. Like when Nolan fired, they hired his point guard from Tulsa. Rev Dog can't play his system with all the media timeouts. God, that there might be a level of truth to that, really. So why not have the men go to four quarters like the women in the NBA? You know, I made that comment a long time ago at a bar, and everyone was like, "No, you can't do that." Yeah, why not go to four quarters? Why not? Since that time, the NCAA has pushed the game towards more offensive game and less defensive. Thank you, Dennis, for sharing. I appreciate it. Nolan the Roof Man versus Leon Raisins, who wins? I don't know. Dennis, follow me on Twitter. Yeah, I'll allow it. Mike's system is about 10 years outdated. And what is your prediction on who starts quarterback? Okay, all right, let's transition to football really quick. I always try to keep these at 45 minutes. We're going to go way over. Hire Daryl Macon. That's right now. I'm saying it's Hicks. If we're going to talk about quarterback, if we're going to talk about what's going on for 2019, it's going to be Hicks. It's not that Hicks is a better player. It's just simply that he has more knowledge. Sorry, you guys are hitting me up on Twitter and sending me emails. If you want to email me too, feel free. It's Tyzilla83@gmail. So feel free to email me. And some of you are hitting me up in the DMs. I swear I'll get to these. I might make a video and get back to you. And who's our starting wide receivers? It's going to be all new faces. I'll tell you that much. Holy cow. Everyone's transferring at that position. Yeah, I think Hicks gets the job, if you want my honest opinion. Hicks is knows the system, knows Chad Morris, knows the system better than anybody there. I mean, really, if we're going to talk about players, this is a guy that played under Chad, and I just think he's the guy. Now, it's possible that Nick comes in and shows off his arm strength, and you got to remember, this is a guy that played Power 5 football. He played in the SEC, has that experience. He's seen that next level of play compared to Ben Hicks. I just wonder. I don't know. It's like raw talent versus knowledge, right? And I just feel like knowledge is going to win. Hicks supposedly, I don't know if this is true, and I've watched a little bit of some highlights on him, but he can throw off his back foot pretty well. He can run and throw, and that's, I mean, look, with as bad as this offensive line has been, you don't think he's going to scramble for his life a time or two? Nick Starkel apparently is not very mobile. Now, I don't know compared to Hicks what the difference is. Don't ask me 40 times. Don't ask me shuttle. I don't know. But he looks to me like he can throw on the run. And I also read an article a little while back, people saying the same thing, people who watched him play at SMU. To me, it's going to be Hicks. I was talking about the article from Trey Biddy really quick. He's making the case for why Arkansas will win 6. And his argument is mostly, it seems to me like, it's the quarterback upgrade, and it's the players around the quarterback, something they were lacking big time last year. Rakeem Boyd, when healthy, I mean, an SEC player, you're talking about a guy that averaged over 5.5 to around 6 yards of carry in SEC play. Multiple 100-yard games total, whether he's catching the ball in the backfield or just, running the ball. So you're going to have Boyd. You're going to have Hayden. DeVal Whaley, before he got hurt, did look improved. He did. He looked better compared to the previous year. He kind of looked like, remember his freshman year here, he looked like that's going to be the future. DeVal Whaley's the future. He kind of got back to that a little bit this year. And you're going to have Hayden, who, if he can hold on to the ball a little bit better, and supposedly I think some of his issue too was not knowing enough of the offense. So you're going to have those upgrades, guys coming back, healthy, ready to go, knowing the offense a little bit more. That's an upgrade, or at least they should be better than where they were at last year at the running back position. Again, Rakeem Boyd needs to stay healthy. And I'm going to tell you this too. If Rakeem Boyd is healthy and that guy has a pretty legitimate year, and by legitimate, I mean, maybe 1,400 yards from the line of scrimmage, watch him go pro. And I think he is next level. I think that he is. I think Devwah Whaley is capable of being that. I don't know about the other guys. Chase Hayden, I think the jury's still out on. But I think most of what, according to Trey Biddy, and again, I got to admit, I skimmed over his article as fast as I could today, and I didn't read the entire thing. But I'll leave you guys a link down below in the description box when this video's done, when we're done. But he puts on a pretty good there's a good argument here to make. You're talking about the new blood on the offensive line. They're going to add some depth there. There's a strong belief that Cunningham and Shabazz and Juan and Austin Capps are going to be the guys, and supposedly there's been some positivity from spring camp so far on those guys. So maybe there's an upgrade there. I don't know yet. Jury's out there, but we know they're going to have better skill position players around the quarterback, and you're going to have an instant upgrade. Look, Ty Storey was good enough to just start, but he wasn't good enough to operate and run this offense. Obviously, Cole Kelly was strong arm, could throw the ball, far, but that was about it. Now you've got guys you feel a lot more comfortable with. I would even dare say Starkel, without any knowledge of this offense, is an upgrade compared to Ty Storey and Cole Kelly. So if you take those things under consideration, you feel like there's a shot. You've got their non-conference schedule is a joke. Now, we said that last year. So you hope you're not repeating history by saying that and then looking back and going, whoops, but only 1 and 2 of those games, 2 games period. What were we thinking? But I do feel like I right now would have to say they're in the ballpark of being considered a bowl team in 2019. I'm not, my official win-loss record I will have out hopefully by probably right before kickoff, because I soak it all in, man. I read the magazines. I talk with other folks who've been able to watch them practice. I talk with some other members of the media, those that are actually willing to talk to me in the Twitter DMs. I go all out. I read as much as I can, and I try to soak it all in, and I want to have a somewhat accurate. I was way off. Like a lot of people, I was way off last year. I thought they could win. I thought they could go bowling last year, and obviously I was wrong. I missed out on a lot. Winshew is if you're still in here, I'm enjoying blocking your comments. So you're welcome. Rev Dog can't play a system. Oh, my bad. Get caught up. Shave. Oh, you want me to shave? Oh, man, I got to keep the beard. I can't shave the beard. Let's see. What is your prediction? Who starts quarterback for week 1? Already said that. We're already there. Hired Daryl Macon. Blah 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 blah. Fitz's son could do it quarterback. I think we can sell out Bud Walton Arena next year. Well, we've kind of moved on from that topic, but I'll read it. I think we can sell out Bud Walton next year if we can get some wins in our insane non-conference game. Seriously, though, does hope return if we don't get embarrassed early again? I don't know if I don't know. It's hard to sell out the stadium, when Hog fans are settling for mediocre. And typically I think that rubs the rest of the fan base wrong. They don't go to games. It's all about the product on the court, just like it is on the field with football. It's the same thing. You got to have a better product, and they just haven't had it. Can Rakeem Boyd stay healthy enough to have 1,000-yard season? That's yeah. If he stays healthy, I think Rakeem Boyd is next level. I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to go to the next level and be the next Ezekiel Elliott, but I think he could at least get paid, and I think he's that good. I think he's that good. He's good enough to get drafted, even though that's a position that's continue to get devalued in the NFL. I'm out. By the way, this is Will. Work together at Sam's. Solid channel. Oh, I think I know who you are. There's a couple of Wills. I think I know who you are. What's going on, man? Will they get to a bowl game? As of right now, I think they're in that range. I think they're in 5 to 6. Somewhere in there, but that opinion could change. Associate Game needs to play like the 5-star he was recruited as. Isn't that the truth? Look, he's he's been a consistent starter. I don't think he's a bad player, but yeah, I mean, he was highly touted coming out of high school. And then you had Armon Watts come out and do what he did last year as an interior defensive lineman to have almost 7.5 sacks. I think it was 8. I hate it when they round down like that. But when you're in on that many sacks and you're pressuring the quarterback that often, and it's Armon Watts and not the guy who's touted as a 5-star according to like everybody, right? Well, at least ESPN, I think 24/7, I think had him as a 5-star. I think I have to go back and look. He's not really lived up to that. I have a belief on how the star system works. I think everyone says it's a little bit different, but there's always hype around him, and that's what all the preseason magazines like to talk about is Sosa game, and I don't think he's lived up to that. Bowl games, unlikely this year, very small chance. I don't know about very small chance. I do think there's a chance, but I don't know. Kelly he had a strong arm. I think Chad Morris will have them ready to get at least compete in games this season. I agree. Aiden, what's going on? What's up? Cajun boy. Hi, everyone. How's it going? Tyler Edmondson, man. I think you said hi earlier. I'm sorry. Tyler Edmondson says, no, don't shave. Don't do it. Don't shave. I won't. I'm not going to shave. We were going to talk about recruiting a little bit, but I'll probably touch on that next week in a video. Next week is going to be crazy. How's it tight end? How is tight ends looking this year? And can we be better on special teams? It was terrible. Example, North Texas. Yeah. So Barry Lunny is now over special teams. I don't know. I mean, he's been the tight end coach. I don't know why they didn't just hire a special teams coach. I don't even know. Is that officially a position, or you just plug somebody there who's coached football long enough? I don't know. So Barry Lunny Jr. is going to be there. He's going to be there. He's going to be over special teams. He's over tight ends. As for your question on tight ends, I think they're going to be good because, well, you're going to have a capable quarterback. The question's going to be, are you going to have quarterbacks that are willing to throw to their checkdowns? And it seems like in this offense, they move tight ends quite a bit. They're going to do a lot, but they're typically check down targets anyways, kind of like running backs who run out of the flats. They're probably going to utilize Hudson Henry as much as they can, but Cheyenne O'Grady is a pretty special player, and I love it that he's from my alumni where I played football at Fayetteville High. I love seeing kids from Fayetteville do good, and he's looked really good, and he probably will get. I would imagine he's going to be somewhere in the vicinity of being a first, second, or third team all conference caliber tight end. I think that's what he brings to the table. Hudson Henry is going to be implemented in this offense in one fashion or another. I think tight end position's going to be okay. I think they're going to be pretty good there, and I think that's going to be tremendous help for whoever the starting quarterback is going to be. What are the chances KJ starts? If you're talking about from day one, I say slim. He's not here on campus right now. If he were here on campus now, I would say there's maybe, but again, you're competing against two guys who have starting experience. One guy who has experience working under Chad Morris in this system, and another guy who was a former starter at Texas A&M. I know that every time we get a new 4-star in, that's the latest, that's the next big thing. But I think it's going to be a year or two before he sees the field. I really do. KJ's a great talent. I hope he doesn't transfer. I hope he sticks it out. But, with Starkle, he has 2 to play, right? And you're going to have Hicks with this year. So I think you're probably going to see something like Hicks this year. Now, if he sucks, pardon my language, if he's not good, you could see Starkle come in and play. You will see KJ play. I don't know about starting, though. Offensive line has to have a better year or the quarterback will get killed in the SEC. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I know that's the appeal of someone like KJ who's dual threat, who can maybe kind of sense that pressure and move out of the pocket, but you also have to know and understand the offense, and you have to be up to speed with, the talent that you're playing against on the other side of the field, on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Lady Backs are playing. See you. Yep, Lady Dogs are playing. Mike Anderson all the way, says Joseph Davis. All the way how? What do you mean all the way? Are you saying he's going to win the NITs, or are you saying that he shouldn't be fired? If you want to get caught up, go back and watch from the beginning. I want to say thank you guys so much. Remember, I'm going to say it again. Sorry, last time. Like, comment, share the content. that you just watched. If you haven't already, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. But I do appreciate you guys sticking it out. I really do. And yeah, I'll try to have some content out for you guys next week. Like I said, I'll be at a funeral this weekend, so I'm not going to get to watch as much sports as I would like to. So yeah, Big Man Ross, thank you so much. Let's see, really quick. Joseph Davis says he's a coach I'll play for in respect. That's great. Can he win in postseason? Can he win in postseason? Can he do anything at Arkansas besides finish above 500? I don't know. Good to hear from you, Frederick. It was so good to hear from you too, man. We keep you updated. Okay, all right, Corey. Everybody, thank you again. I appreciate it. Go Hawks, and we'll see you next week. You guys be good. Bye.